Have you ever met someone in your dreams and felt like they knew you better than you know yourself? A stranger, yet familiar. A face that carries your secrets, your fears, your desires, all wrapped in silence. And when you wake up, you wonder, was it just a dream or a glimpse of a part of me I've been too afraid to meet? The stranger in our dreams represents the parts of ourselves we avoid, suppress, or fear. We often think of dreams as random, fleeting images or even meaningless entertainment while we sleep. But in reality, dreams serve as mirrors reflecting the deepest, most hidden corners of our psyche. They show us truths that we might be too afraid to face during our waking hours. The faces, the feelings, the scenarios that appear are not arbitrary. They are fragments of our own inner world. The stranger you encounter in a dream may seem unfamiliar at first, but in truth, they are a part of you. A reflection of emotions, desires, or fears you have yet to acknowledge. When you begin to recognize this, dreams transform from something passive into something profoundly instructive. The stranger is unsettling precisely because they confront us with aspects of ourselves that we habitually avoid. In everyday life, it's easy to ignore discomfort, mask vulnerability, and keep our most private fears locked away. But in dreams, the boundaries fall. The stranger doesn't adhere to societal expectations or the rules we impose on ourselves. They are raw, honest, and unflinching, showing us what we might otherwise deny: anger, longing, grief, courage, or ambition that we have yet to accept. By appearing in our subconscious, this stranger forces a conversation we might never have voluntarily. A conversation with our truest self. Understanding this stranger requires a level of courage that many overlook. To look at a reflection of yourself that is both familiar and alien is to confront vulnerability. It is to admit that parts of you exist outside of conscious control and comfort. And yet, this confrontation is exactly what allows growth. Avoiding these reflections only ensures that our fears and unacknowledged desires continue to operate in the shadows, influencing our choices and behavior without our awareness. Engaging with the stranger in our dreams is, in fact, an act of empowerment. It is a declaration that we are willing to face what we have hidden and, in doing so, reclaim our agency. Moreover, the stranger is not merely a passive reflection, they are a guide. They show the path to self-awareness by highlighting the areas of our lives that need attention. Perhaps they reveal a fear that is preventing us from pursuing a goal or a desire that has been suppressed out of guilt or shame. By recognizing the stranger as part of ourselves, we can translate these dream lessons into actionable insights in our waking life. The more we engage with these reflections, the more clarity we gain about who we are and what we need to thrive. Ultimately, the stranger in our dreams serves as a bridge between the unconscious and conscious mind. They remind us that our inner world is not separate from our lived reality and that facing ourselves is the first step toward authenticity. Dreams become not a retreat from life, but a rehearsal for it, a chance to meet the parts of ourselves that we might otherwise ignore, to understand them and to integrate them into our sense of self. The stranger is not an intruder. They are a messenger guiding us towards self-knowledge, courage, and transformation. And the moment we stop seeing them as an alien presence and start recognizing them as a reflection of ourselves, we unlock a profound pathway to personal growth. What feels unfamiliar or uncomfortable in our dreams is not a threat. It is guidance. The stranger that appears within our subconscious is often unsettling precisely because they represent aspects of ourselves that we have not fully recognized or embraced. In the waking world, we are conditioned to seek comfort, predictability, and control. We avoid situations, thoughts, and emotions that challenge us, fearing judgment, failure, or pain. Dreams, however, bypass these defenses. In dreams, the stranger does not follow rules or defer to our conscious reasoning. They show up without explanation, often speaking in riddles, offering silence, or performing actions that jar us awake. At first, this can feel alarming, as if the mind has conjured an intruder. But in truth, the stranger is a guide, an internal teacher revealing truths that we might otherwise overlook or ignore. Guidance in this context is not about providing easy answers. The stranger's role is to direct attention, not to simplify the complexity of our inner lives. They highlight unresolved fears, unacknowledged desires, and suppressed emotions that influence our waking behavior. For instance, if the stranger evokes discomfort, it may point to areas of vulnerability we have resisted confronting. If the stranger inspires curiosity or awe, it may signal untapped potential or a path we are hesitant to pursue. By appearing in dreams, this figure creates a safe space for us to explore our inner landscape without external consequences, allowing us to interact with these hidden facets in ways that are often impossible in the conscious world. The stranger as a guide also teaches the importance of listening to subtle signals within ourselves. We often dismiss fleeting thoughts, intuitions, or discomfort as trivial or irrelevant. Dreams remind us that these internal cues have significance. The stranger embodies what our subconscious recognizes as necessary for growth and self-awareness. By paying attention to the stranger's presence, behaviors, and messages, we gain insight into personal patterns, fears, and motivations. The act of engaging with this figure requires attentiveness and reflection. It is not a passive process. It demands active observation, interpretation, and willingness to confront truths that may be inconvenient or uncomfortable. Furthermore, the stranger's guidance extends beyond personal awareness. They challenge us to act in the waking world. Dreams serve as rehearsal spaces, testing courage, resilience, and decision-making. The stranger's appearance signals areas where we may need to take action, assert boundaries, or embrace qualities we have neglected. Ignoring this guidance often leads to recurring dreams, anxiety, or stagnation as the subconscious continues to urge acknowledgement and integration. Conversely, embracing the lessons the stranger presents allows us to navigate life with increased clarity, emotional intelligence, and alignment with our authentic selves. Ultimately, the stranger is both a mirror and a mentor. By recognizing that the discomfort they evoke is purposeful guidance, we shift our perception of dreams from random or frightening experiences to meaningful interactions with our inner world. The stranger within dreams is not an intruder or enemy. They are a teacher and emissary of self-discovery. Each encounter offers an opportunity to uncover hidden truths, reconcile internal conflicts, and develop the courage necessary to live authentically. By heeding their guidance, we begin to integrate the lessons of our subconscious into our waking life, transforming fear into insight and confusion into clarity. Confronting the stranger in our dreams requires a level of vulnerability that many people shy away from. Vulnerability is often misunderstood as weakness, but in reality, it is the gateway to self-discovery and personal growth. The stranger represents aspects of ourselves that have been hidden, suppressed, or denied, parts of our identity that we may fear exposing even to ourselves. To engage with this figure, we must allow ourselves to feel deeply, to sit with discomfort, and to face truths that may be unsettling. This process challenges the instinct to hide, to distract, or to rationalize, demanding instead that we open ourselves fully to experience and understanding. Vulnerability is difficult because it strips away our masks. In waking life, we are constantly performing for others, curating the versions of ourselves we want the world to see. We present confidence while hiding doubt, strength while concealing fear, and certainty while masking confusion. Dreams, however, bypass these protective facades. The stranger does not see the masks we wear, nor does it permit them to remain. When we confront this figure, we are forced to acknowledge the raw and unfiltered aspects of our inner world. The stranger does not judge, they simply reveal. By facing this reflection, we gain insight into emotions and desires that influence our behavior, often in ways we are not consciously aware of. Embracing vulnerability in dreams teaches us to embrace vulnerability in life. The courage required to meet the stranger is the same courage needed to confront challenges, relationships, and decisions in the waking world. Each encounter in the dream realm becomes a rehearsal for authenticity, a space to practice honesty, to confront fear, and to integrate hidden aspects of ourselves. By engaging with the stranger, we learn to recognize and accept our own emotional complexity. This acceptance fosters resilience, empathy, and self-awareness, allowing us to navigate life with greater clarity and intentionality. Moreover, vulnerability deepens our connection to our inner wisdom. The stranger often embodies intuition and insight that we overlook in daily life. By being open and receptive, we allow these insights to surface, guiding us toward growth, self-acceptance, and meaningful action. The process may reveal uncomfortable truths, fears that have limited us, desires we have ignored, or unresolved conflicts we have avoided. Yet, it is precisely these truths that hold the potential for transformation. The stranger acts as a catalyst, showing that confronting vulnerability is not an act of exposure to harm, but a deliberate step toward empowerment. Ultimately, vulnerability transforms the relationship we have with ourselves. The stranger within our dreams is not an adversary, but a mirror, reflecting what we have been too cautious or afraid to acknowledge. Each encounter provides an opportunity to face fear, explore our inner world, and embrace authenticity. By accepting and engaging with the stranger, we cultivate emotional courage, deepen self-understanding, and unlock the potential for profound personal growth. Vulnerability, once embraced, becomes the bridge between the hidden aspects of ourselves and the empowered, self-aware individual we are capable of becoming. In this way, the stranger is not merely a dream figure. They are a teacher, guiding us toward the strength and insight that come from facing ourselves fully. The lessons we encounter in dreams are not confined to sleep. They extend into our waking lives, shaping our decisions, behaviors, and self-perception. The stranger that appears within dreams is a bridge between the subconscious and conscious mind, offering insights that we may overlook while awake. Dreams provide a safe space to explore emotions, confront fears, and experiment with choices without immediate, real-world consequences. The stranger within these dreams embodies qualities, desires, or warnings that demand attention, serving as a guide that points us towards self-awareness and personal growth. Recognizing the connection between the dream world and waking life allows us to translate these symbolic messages into actionable insight. One of the key ways dreams influence waking life is by revealing patterns and behaviors that may be hidden from our conscious awareness. The stranger may appear as a symbol of suppressed emotions, unresolved conflicts, or unacknowledged ambitions. For instance, recurring encounters with the stranger may highlight fears we avoid confronting, habits that limit our potential, or choices we have postponed out of hesitation. These dream experiences serve as mirrors, reflecting internal truths that we might otherwise ignore. By paying attention to these reflections, we gain the ability to examine our actions, motivations, and responses with greater clarity, ultimately leading to more intentional living. Moreover, the stranger in dreams encourages us to integrate qualities or strengths that have been dormant in our waking selves. Dreams can reveal latent courage, creativity, or resilience that we are hesitant to express in daily life. By observing how the stranger navigates situations, responds to challenges, or embodies certain traits, we can begin to recognize these same qualities within ourselves. This awareness becomes a form of guidance, offering insight into how we might approach problems, relationships, or opportunities in reality. In this way, dreams act as rehearsals for life, allowing us to test possibilities and prepare for personal evolution without fear of failure. The guidance provided by the stranger also fosters emotional intelligence and self-reflection. Dreams strip away societal expectations and conscious rationalizations, exposing the raw essence of our inner world. The stranger's presence highlights unresolved emotions, unspoken desires, or inner conflicts that influence behavior in ways we may not understand. By reflecting on these experiences after waking, we can identify emotional triggers, recognize patterns, and develop strategies for personal growth. This process of translating dream insights into conscious action strengthens our capacity to make decisions aligned with authenticity and integrity. Ultimately, understanding that dreams are not isolated experiences, but rather extensions of our inner reality allows us to live more consciously. The stranger within our dreams is not simply a figment of imagination. They are a messenger, revealing truths that demand attention in our waking life. By recognizing and acting on these lessons, we create opportunities for self-awareness, emotional growth, and personal transformation. Dreams become a laboratory for life, offering guidance, reflection, and insight. The stranger is a bridge, a guide that reminds us that what we encounter in sleep is not separate from our reality, but intimately connected to the person we are and the person we have the potential to become. The stranger within our dreams is ultimately a reflection of ourselves, and recognizing this truth is one of the most transformative experiences we can have. For many, dreams are viewed as fleeting, abstract, or meaningless. Yet, the presence of a stranger in these dreams signals something deeper. A part of ourselves that has been hidden, ignored, or denied. This figure, while seemingly external, embodies our fears, desires, strengths, and unacknowledged truths. To meet the stranger is to meet a version of ourselves we may have avoided, the self that is waiting to be seen, understood, and embraced. Accepting this reflection is the first step toward profound personal transformation. Acknowledging the stranger requires courage and honesty. It challenges us to confront traits and emotions we may find uncomfortable or even frightening. Often, we resist self-reflection because it demands vulnerability. We are afraid to face the parts of ourselves that are imperfect, conflicted, or unknown. Yet avoiding these truths only perpetuates confusion and limits growth. The stranger acts as a mirror, showing us not what we want to see, but what we need to see. By recognizing this figure as part of our own psyche, we learn that the aspects we fear or deny are not enemies. They are messengers, guiding us towards self-understanding and empowerment. Understanding that the stranger is part of ourselves transforms the way we approach both dreams and waking life. Each interaction with this figure carries a lesson, a call to action, or a moment of insight. Dreams become more than random images or entertainment for the mind. They become a laboratory for personal growth. The stranger reflects our untapped potential, our unresolved emotions, and the choices we may be avoiding. By integrating these insights into our waking lives, we begin to live with greater authenticity, aligning our actions with our deepest truths rather than external expectations or fears. This recognition also fosters self-compassion. Often, the aspects of ourselves represented by the stranger are the very traits we criticize or suppress. By understanding that these qualities are integral to who we are, we begin to embrace them rather than reject them. The stranger teaches us that self-awareness is inseparable from self-acceptance. The more we honor our inner complexity, the fears, desires, contradictions, and strengths, the more empowered we become to make decisions that reflect our true selves. Dreams, then, are not only a mirror, but also a guide to living a more conscious, intentional life. Ultimately, the stranger within our dreams reminds us that freedom and transformation are always possible. By acknowledging that the stranger is not separate from us, we reclaim power over our identity and our choices. We stop running from fear, ignoring desire, or suppressing truth. Instead, we embrace the full spectrum of who we are, integrating lessons from the subconscious into our conscious lives. This integration leads to self-awareness, authenticity, and resilience. The stranger is not an alien presence to fear or avoid. They are a reflection of our inner truth, a messenger of self-discovery, and the key to unlocking the person we are capable of becoming. Recognizing this truth changes everything. It transforms dreams into guidance, fear into courage, and the stranger into a part of ourselves that we can finally call our own.